said, no, delivery boy. She goes, no, gift of God, gift of God. I'm trying not to cry. And then I said, well, where do I put these groceries? And there's a tiny little room, right? The table's right there. And she points. And so I go to put it there. And then I hear these screams. And then all of a sudden, when one boy hits me, one boy hits the house, 4 kids. And it turned out that I found out afterwards that her husband had left them 3 days before Thanksgiving with no money and no food. It's like not the exact same situation as mine, but so close, it was ridiculous. It's like, talk about grace. And so, the kids got all excited. So I had them come out to the van and help me bring more stuff in. And when they saw the pumpkin pie, it was like over. They were over the top. And there was time to leave. And this one little boy would not let go of my leg. He was so cute and he was so just wonderful. But I had to go. I had to go to the next house. I didn't speak Spanish. So I turned to the lady and I said, Feliz Navidad, Merry Christmas. It's Thanksgiving. But she started to laugh. She'd been crying, now she's laughing. And I gave them all hugs and I went to leave and I got in the van and I'll never forget, I was putting the thing in reverse as my buddy's van. I didn't really know how to do the gears properly. And I looked in the rearview mirror and on the porch for the 4 boys and the mom, they're grinning from ear to ear. Mom's crying and smiling simultaneously. And I started crying uncontrollably. And I was like, why am I crying? This is such a beautiful moment. And trying to get the thing in gear. And literally, I couldn't see I was crying so hard. And then I realized today, my worst day became my best day. That if I had not suffered like that as a child, would I be there to help this family? And the answer is, well, I believe I'm a good person. Probably not. And so the next year I fed 4 families. I was hooked. And then it was 8. And then I had a little company. I got my employees involved. Then I got a bigger company. Then I eventually got to 4 million people, 2 million from my foundation, 2 million from me every year. And then I was doing this book, Money Master the Game, where I interviewed Ray Dalio, Carl Icahn, Warren Buffett, 50 of the smartest financial people in the world. And I'm meeting these multi-billionaires and I see that the government has cut food stamps, they call it the SNAP program now, by $6 billion, I think was the number. It basically means every family that needs food has to go out with 1 week a month without food, unless people like you and I in the private sector step up. So I called my foundation and I said, how many people I fed in my lifetime? I didn't know the total number. And they said 42 million. I was like, wow, I was really excited and proud about that. But I thought, what if I blew that number through the roof? What if I did in 1 year as much as I did in my whole life? And I did 50 million meals. And I was like, what if I did 100 million meals? And I was like, what if I did 100 million meals for 10 straight years, provided 1 billion meals? Now that is an exciting outcome. And so I did it.